Happy Father's Day, everyone.
Happy Father's Day, everyone. Thank everyone for joining us. If you're going to watch this video, it's A&E Kitchen Combos, and today, in honor of Father's Day, we're going to talk about many fathers' favorite topic, and my favorite topic is what?
Sex.
Sex. So we talk with folks about the 7 areas of important conversations: health and wellness, love, religion, politics, children, finances, and sex. Unfortunately, we can't get a couple to talk about sex on the camera. So we decided that we'll talk about sex on the camera.
Yeah.
So I don't know why everybody's skittish about this topic. We all do it. We all like it. We all enjoy it. I guess some of us do. So why is it so hard for people to talk about sex? What do you think, babe?
It's so taboo for so many people, and it's supposed to be, a private thing. People don't like to talk about it out in the open, and especially in America, I feel like Americans have made it so taboo that it's uncomfortable for people to talk about it. Whereas other countries, it's not that uncommon. It's not that difficult. People are very in touch with, their bodies and what have you. I just think it's here we're a little more, conservative.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk with couples about this and individuals about this, sometimes they get a little skirmish when the topic of sex comes
You're like,
up.
oh my gosh, we have to talk about that.
And one of the things that we find that when we find couples who aren't enjoying sex, it's more so about their communication skills, right?
Yeah, because I've had this conversation with a couple of girlfriends, and they're like, oh, I don't know, my husband, sex is all right. It's not the best. Like, I wish he would do something different. I would like for him to do so and so. And my question is, have you told him that? Have you told him what you want? Have you expressed what makes you feel good? And they're like, no, he should know that. How is he supposed to know that if you haven't told him? Eric always tells me, be honest with me about everything, because if you're not, I'm working off of false information, right? So that's what I want women to realize, that no, your man does not always know what you like, or you can't just assume that he knows what you like. You have to be open and upfront and honest about what makes you feel good when it comes to your sex life, because if you don't do that, then that's what happens. You get bored with it, or you start looking for it from other people, and that's not good. But as long as you're open and honest about it, and you let your partner know what you like and what you don't like, I really believe that can really change your sex life.
And I think it works for men as well. I mean, if you're not being pleased, or if it's not a more pleasurable experience for you, that's a conversation that you should have with your significant other about what are the ways that we can pleasure and please each other. And so some folks may say, well, there's a difference between sex and intimacy. So is there a difference between sex and intimacy?
Yeah, definitely.
What is your view on that?
I think sex is more like just the act and just getting pleasure satisfied. Intimacy is more when you're in tune with each other, you're in tune with yourself, you're in tune with your partner, and that's where lovemaking comes in, because you're so intimate, physically, emotionally, spiritually. That's where the intimacy comes in and can make it such an amazing experience for both people.
Are there times when there's just, as some people call, a quickie?
Oh yeah, of course. Those are great sometimes. Like, listen, I need to get this in real quick, baby. Where you at?
Hey, like these are conversations we have, particularly with couples, about really sharing these important conversations, important topics, even fantasies. So there are always sexual fantasies, I think, in relationships. They're not always shared with your partner. Sometimes some has to do with shaming. Sometimes it has to do with maybe you haven't revealed some things that you may enjoy that may not be comfortable for your significant other. Now here's the challenge: if you haven't talk to your significant other about your fantasies, and their hidden fantasies and their unfulfilled fantasies, that could cause a little, you know.
That can cause, infidelity,
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that, no one wants to have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you're more prone to it if you're not speaking up and letting your partner know what exactly makes you happy sexually, what turns you on, what fantasies you have, and that I cannot understand how you can love someone, marry someone, and not be able to tell them your fantasy. Like that person you marry is supposed to be your best friend. That's the one person that you're supposed to be able to confide in about anything and everything.
Right. Do I share my fantasies with you?
Oh, all the time.
Yes, I do.
Yes, he does. He's very vocal about his fantasies.
So, other things that we talk about, not with other couples, because we don't get in specifics when it comes to sex. We ask generalization questions, but to you all, we just want to share with you how we communicate. We always talk to each other about, and I hope other couples are just to like the favorite part of your body. What is your favorite part of my body?
Your chest and your arms.
Oh, okay.
I love them. They are the best. Where's my favorite? What do I always say is my favorite place on earth?
Laying on my chest.
Yes.
Yeah, she calls that heaven.
Yeah.
And my favorite part of you is what?
My butt.
Her ass. She has the greatest ass I ever seen. Right. Yeah, I like when she wears those tight jeans. Now, this is not for everybody else to be looking at, but but that's one of my favorite parts. And that's something as a couple you should play that up, and play with each other around this, have conversations about this stuff. We're always talking about this issue, and I think, in some ways, it was different when we first started dating because you were a little uncomfortable with how, open and honest I was with having conversations about sex.
Yeah, like after having sex, Eric would want to have a conversation about it. Like, how'd you feel? How'd it feel to you? And I'd be like, okay, it was good. And after a while, he was like, listen, I need more information. Like, just good and okay is not enough for me. Like, I need details. And I was like, what? I don't understand what details you need. Like, I don't know how to be detailed about our, the sex that we just had. So it took a long, and I'm still getting comfortable with, talking to him about it because 7 years later, he still likes to have conversations after we have sex or make love. Like, that's very important to him, and that's something that I've got more comfortable with, but I'm still understanding and trying to learn how to have those conversations. And I'll tell him in a minute, okay, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, after a while, it's like, okay, it was great, honey. Like, it was good. And what do you say?
Yeah.
And what's your response always?
What does that mean? Like, I'm definitely a more vocal person in our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
April is so laid back. Shout out to Bob Battle, her dad. Her dad was just a very cool, quiet, laid back dude, and she takes a lot of traits from her dad, who's just very cool and laid back. And so I have to,
poke and pry
to get stuff out of April. And for me, and for all couples, I think this topic is very important to have these conversations, to enjoy talking about this topic. And so I always say, okay, so here's the question. So what makes sex good versus great? So
for me, good is good. Like, I feel like when it's good, it's just because, we both got
a quickie.
Yeah, we got a quickie. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so both of us are satisfied sexually. But great is, when you're taking the time out with me, like, he does a lot of, what's that called before making love? What's that word I'm looking for?
Foreplay.
Yeah. Foreplay. Eric is great at foreplay. He's great.
Okay, let's not get...
Okay. But I'm not getting into specifics, baby. But it's very emotional for me when, that's what makes it great. Because we're so connected emotionally, physically, and spiritually that there are lots of times when our sex is great.
So, and for everything about you is sexy. So
Thank you, baby.
you know, I one of the things that I have conversations with guys all the time. One of the things I think women should know about men is that we love women's bodies. Like, so for our wife to be naked in front of us, that's gonna want us. We're gonna want to have sex.
Oh my God.
Whoa, that's the truth, guys. Am I right? If you, so it's. Let me just say this: we're very the sight, the physical. This is it's very attractive. So women, so if you feel like you're not in the mood to have sex, you better cover up. Don't walk. Because if you walk naked in front of your man or that same-sex partners, whoever, if you walk naked in front of your woman or your same-sex partner, I know for men, we're very visual, and that's stimulating to us. Right?
That makes sense.
So, what is, I think, important, what we're trying to say is have that communication with your spouse and your significant other about sex. We've come across a lot of couples who don't talk about these issues. Mm-hmm. They don't know how to please their husbands, or they don't know. This is the worst thing you can do to a man, for allow him to assume that he's pleasing you and he's really not.
Wow.
That is devastating. Don't ever do that to your significant other if he's a man. Mm-hmm. Because now he's working off of false information. Mm-hmm. Men typically, not all men, but men typically, if you tell us what we need to do to satisfy you, we will do everything in our power to make sure that's happening.
Yeah.
Because one thing a man loves doing is pleasing his significant other sexually.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I found that to definitely be true. Definitely. The one thing that I wanted to just throw out there, Eric and I got together later in life in our 40s, early 40s, and now we're almost, that big 50 number. So sex changes as you get older. Yeah. It definitely does. And for women, it's way more physical changes as far as what our bodies go through, what our hormones go through. Mm-hmm. And I have my fan here today because, these hot flashes are out of control. But it's real. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that I really, I'm struggling with, the whole getting older thing as a woman, dealing with all these hormonal craziness that I go through. But Eric is so patient. He's so understanding. When we realized that, I was going through the whole premenopause or menopause phase, he did research. He was like, I'm going to look it up. I'm going to start researching, reading all these things. And he would call me at work and say, hey, babe, well, I think you should, try and do this. Or maybe if you stop eating this, your hot flashes will get better. I mean, I have it where we have to sleep on different sides of the bed now. I need to be right under the window. We have the fan on constantly, plus an air conditioner. And he'll be like, oh, my God, it's cold.
Those hot flashes are real.
I mean, they're real. And even, when it comes to our sex life, there have been, not real issues, but there's been differences. And he's noticed it, and he's so amazingly sensitive to those differences. And when things aren't feeling the same for me, he's great about it. So, I really feel like it's very important for women to be honest with their partners when you're going through this, because if your man loves you, or if your significant other loves you, he'll be all right. He'll be willing to deal with it with you, and he'll be patient. I think now things are so much more, information is so much more available. Yeah. People are getting more knowledge about, things that, 50 years ago, people weren't privy to this information. But I really think it's important when you are going through this phase in your life, that next phase, that you guys talk about it and are honest with each other about it, and try and understand each other about.
Yeah, I think that's the key. As we get older, if you're lucky enough, you're young, you'll start aging, so sex will change, and you have to be adaptable and willing to change with that. So, with that,
our kids are gonna be really upset.
Yeah, probably. They're probably gonna be embarrassed.
I don't want you guys to watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kids don't watch this one, but
Yeah.
we love talking about sex, so we
And we do a lot of flirting.
Yes.
We do a lot of flirting
with each other.
With each other. Yeah. With each other. We definitely do a lot of flirting with each other out in public, at home, around family, friends.
You're very affectionate, very touchy-feely. Mm-hmm. So, our kids know that, and we embarrass the hell out of them. This video is going to embarrass the hell out of them. So,
yeah.
Hopefully you guys got something out of this. Hopefully we didn't make you guys uncomfortable, because this is something that we're very comfortable talking about. This is a natural thing. This is something that our Creator created for couples. And our last video talking about what we intended for monogamous relationships. We asked that question to you all, and some of you answered that back and said no, and we happen to believe that we don't believe we were created for monogamy either. Mm-hmm. But the work, and when you're committing to that one individual, that's when that love and that work comes in, that mm-hmm. saying, yes, I'm going to be committed to you, and I'm going to share my mm-hmm. intimacy with this one person only. Mm-hmm. So and that's a healthy conversation you should have. If you're going to share that with that one person, then all the pleasure and experience and intimacy that surrounds that relationship, for all couples, same-sex couples or whoever, that should be a discussion to have. Timing, sex changes when you have kids. And when you're newlyweds and you don't have any kids, it's on popping all night long. But when you have kids, that changes. Yeah. Your spouse's body change. Even if you're adopting kids, if you're same-sex couples who have surrogate parents, kids will change your sex life completely.
Yeah, but remember, you still got to please that partner.
Absolutely.
Even when those kids are here, your partner was here before those kids. So keep that relationship live. Keep it sexy.
Date night. Lingerie.
Yes.
I bought a few things for you. But anyway.
Yeah, like you have to remember you still gotta please each other.
You gotta please each other. You gotta keep it sexy, as you say.
Definitely.
As a baby, you gotta keep it sexy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So thank you all for watching. We'll probably have another topic to go on in a few weeks. Well, next week. And then we'll keep talking about sex if we can't get another couple to talk about it, because there's a lot more to talk about. So thank you for joining us, and
Happy Father's Day to all those dads, granddads, uncles, stepdads, bonus dads, anyone who is a father figure. Happy Father's Day, and have an amazing day.
Even if you're not a biological father to that kid, but you're raising that kid, shout out to you, bro.
Yep. Peace.